Man, do I want to stream? I know I haven't wanted to stream at all lately because I've been so tired. I like this stream. The streams are so much fun. Streaming is so much fun. Take a break, don't burn out. No, no, no. It's not. It's not burning out. It's not that I don't enjoy the content. I'm just tired. That's it. It's just working, and I'm tired during the work. It's not. It's not like it's not like I'm developing a dwindling interest in what I'm doing or anything like that. Stream viewership is down significantly as of late. I think that's just cyclical. That stuff tends to go up and down. Was there any reason for that? Has school recently reopened? I don't know, anything like that, or recently closed, or the kink discourse? I don't think it's that. School just out. Oh well, that should boost the viewership, not decrease it. The school just reopened for me. I don't really. Oh, whatever. Anyway, that stuff's cyclical. You can't get that kind of stuff in your head. One of the things about content creation that can be really stressful, actually, not just content creation, any kind of self-employment, which this is self-employment basically. Um, all types of self-employment can be very stressful because your income is never reliable. It's never, ever, ever reliable. If you work a job, and that's not to say, by the way, that I'm not happy for what I do. But if you work a job, as long as you're not fired, and I'm not saying people have job security these days. I'm only saying, like, as long as you don't get fired, you get your paychecks. It's reliable, you know the amount, so on. Like, I can give you an example. Tempest, I paid a percentage chunk of my YouTube revenue. But Tempest, he actually opted to just get a flat amount based on like predicted averages and stuff like that. Which was something he actually requested, but he actually preferred the the potential of making less if I proportionally get more. He actually preferred that as long as it meant a consistent amount of money, because the reliability means a lot. Yeah, regularity can be helpful. Like, okay, this month I gotta get this. Here's the $8,000 I get this month. There you go. Simple as that. Whereas with the variability, it can be stressful. The real thing, aren't you playing a lot of video games? I need to cool down after the kink discourse. That stuff is stressful. The real thing, here we go. The real thing that actually sucks about self-employment is that it's so easy to extrapolate negative future outcomes based on short-term trends if you're feeling paranoid that day. So like the way self-employment will work, or like the income with self-employment, is that it can be like, here's the amount. It's like, whoa, I'm making a lot this month. That's sick. And then the next month is like this. And you're like, oh my God, it's going to keep going down. It's over. It's over. Oh my God, it's over. Like that. That's what it feels like every time. Every time you're going up, you're like, "Whoa, this is amazing!" And then when you go down, it's like, "Oh no!" And part of getting better at this is getting used to not thinking that way, because in reality, there's always like a ton of fluctuation all the times. It's really difficult for people to conceptualize this unless they've tried doing it for themselves, I think. Yeah, because when I got into this, I always told myself, I know how statistics works. I'm literally educated on this. I know for a fact that short-term downward or upward trends don't mean a broader pattern, et cetera, et cetera. Like, I know for a fact I shouldn't let myself get stressed out over this, but it happens anyway. It's just you look at it and you just think like, oh, like, oh, it's lower than it should be. It's higher than it should be. But when you think it's higher than it should be, you never think that. What you instead think is, this is now like the ground level, like, oh, this is now like the flat line. You know what I mean? Like, if every month you make about 8,000, but then one month you make like 10,000, you're like, yes, this is it. Like, we're doing it. We're going up. And then if you make like 8,000 again the next month, it feels like a decrease. When in reality, you got the increase. The increase was the 10,000 month, if that makes any sense. I actually think this is one of the reasons why billionaires are so greedy. Anytime there's variability in your income, I think it's human. Anytime there's variability in an outcome that you desire, you always want to work to maximize that outcome at all times. Even though I make a lot of money, like probably about, after taxes and after wages paid, probably about a third of a million a year, which is, I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot of money. But even with that, whenever there's a month or a week where it's lower, I legitimately get worried. But it's totally irrational, like completely irrational. My income could be halved and I would still be upper middle class. But it's that, like, you know, that decrease. Loss of control? Well, it's just stressful, you know? As someone who's been broke, homeless, that's fucking stupid. Yeah, it's really difficult to describe unless you're in that position. But keep in mind that when I was in college for 2 years, I was scrimping so hard that I wouldn't buy food unless it was on sale. I would, like, go long periods without eating much at all, just so I could, like, stretch out every dollar to the maximum. I was never homeless, like, but I certainly lived on a line, you know? I could have like begged my parents for more money, but I knew they were struggling too, so I tried my best to live within my means. And in living within my means, I became incredibly skinflint, you know? Very, very, very unwilling to spend money. And for the most part, I still am. But I'm saying that having experienced that, I never thought that I would ever feel the way that I do right now. But now that I'm where I am, I do feel that way. I think that's just how humans are wired to an extent, you know? Does that make any sense? There are a lot of ways in which humans act like this that feel really, really counterintuitive. Like, for example, you just get acclimated to where you are. You know how when you have a stomach ache or a headache, you think, this is something I always thought. When I have a stomach ache or a headache, I think, I am never going to take not having a stomach or headache for granted ever again. Once my head or stomach feels better, I'm gonna live my life to the fullest. I am going to spring on my feet around the house. I am going to do every chore. And then 5 minutes after your headache or stomachache goes away, you forget and you go back to being whatever. Same with sore throat, same with stuffy nose, same with everything. We just, yeah, it's the hedonistic treadmill. We just get accustomed to where we're at right now, and then everything is done in relation to that. I was happy back when I was poor, and I'm happy now. And the happiness is different. But like they say, money buys you security. It doesn't necessarily buy you happiness. It's really just about, I don't know, maybe the Buddhists were right. Happiness really is about very non-material things, I guess, fundamentally. Though you need the subsistence life. You can't really be happy when you're always stressed about whether or not you're going to live to see the next day. Does that make any sense? Yeah, you understand what I'm saying. Yes, the happiness money gives you seems to plateau around 75,000, but it's probably relative to the cost of living in the area that you're in. Anyway, that's why people tend to always maximize their income. The goal here isn't to impugn people who make a lot, because that can be a little self-defeating. The goal is instead to structure a system in such a way as to flatten out the rewards that the ambitious and the unambitious achieve. Likewise, to make it so that everyone can enjoy a strong subsistence lifestyle.